Okay, so welcome everyone. It is August the 23rd, 2023, and we're doing part 6, I believe. Part six of the sacral chakra. So the third dimension, the blessing and virtue of fortitude, and the universal law of balance, as above, so below, as within, so without. So here, let's just jump right into the slideshow. Okay, so there we go. Part 6 of the sacral chakra, fortitude, universal law of balance, and the third dimension with Jesus, Suzanne Maresca, and Albert Einstein. And we're learning, this is us learning our magenta mastery.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Okay, so there we go. It's the orange sacral chakra, sacred musical note of D. This is a balance chakra for the masculine and the feminine in physical form. It's a very creative place. This is where we are creating balance on creating our Nova Earth, cleaning up the old belief systems. So the third dimension is all cleaned up here with fortitude. This is the courage it takes to do this work. And the scarab beetle is just a metaphor for a symbol of birth, life, death, and resurrection associated with the sun's daily regenerative powers of dawn and sunset. So that orange sacral chakra is almost like a sunset sun. Okay, and here we are with the third dimension. There's Albert Einstein, and this dimension is defined by the quality of the perception or experience of physicality, meaning that the universe is perceived through the experience of length, width, depth. But the growth quality is the ability to embrace all dimensions, realities, emotion, and spirit. So the more we clean up the third dimension, the greater access we have to all the dimensions, our multidimensionality. All of the numerically higher dimensions have the opportunity to exhibit in the third. And this dimension also has the unique quality of freedom of choice. And the growth opportunity and quality of the third is the ability to choose to expand beyond the mere perception of physicality and incorporate all aspects of self. So the many, many, many past lives we've had, this is a lifetime where we are incorporating those aspects. And often we will feel the clearing process over and over as the aspects come in. And the third dimension is not limited by the time-space continuum. It merely appears to be. Things are not as they seem here. And the challenge and opportunity in the third is to reach beyond physical appearances. All right. So then moving on to the blessing and virtue, the divine quality of fortitude. This is our courage, strength of purpose, stamina, patience, forbearance. This is our ability to stand back and observe with restraint and to continue going forward with stamina. When you really feel like pushing the individual off the cliff, it will be required when working with 1212. And the vibration is orange. And I have some new ideas about that 1212. It's connected to the third dimension and our mastery. So 1 + 2 makes 3. That's the third dimension. And then 3 and 3 is mastery numbers. Okay, so back to the law of balance. And this is Susie in the Channeling with Linda Dillon channel for the Council of Love. And this was back in 2013. And Susie is asking a question about tools. Could you speak to the tools we've been given for spiritual practice, not just the rituals and ceremonies, but crystals, rattles, bells, etc.? We do love them and they certainly serve a purpose, but I've been wondering if the main purpose has been to get us used to being able to connect to our innate power and to eventually only use them if they please us and that we enjoy the beauty of them. And SK says, you love tools, humans love gadgets and toys. You think that you have grown up and matured, but you have not. So yes, and think about it. We love tools as well. Now, do we use them consistently or constantly? No. We have understood a long time ago that the intent and the use of your own power is significant, but you have been given these tools such as crystals, rattles, amulets, because they do hold power. They magnify your power, particularly with crystals. They have come to you because they have, and then he talks about Lemurian crystals have your library of information. So they are amplifiers in and of their own right. And it is a way that you're connecting with the kingdoms. It is a way that you're coming very intimately to work in cooperation with the kingdoms. And this right here is a Lemurian crystal. You can see it's like a clear quartz, but it's got lines in it. That's the library within the crystal. It's a really powerful one to meditate with if you're given a Lemurian crystal or you find one. So for example, a crystal can sit and send power and light for its entire lifetime, which is much longer than human. But when it is brought in conjunction with a human and the cooperation of energies comes together, there is an amplification. So yes, there are things that do amplify each other. This one here is labradorite. It's got an amazing shimmer to it. It's found in Labrador. This is in the store that I work in, and this is amethyst from the store that I work in. The lady has some amazing crystals that I stand close to, and the energy that comes off them is incredible. Back when I started meditating, Archangel Gabriel took me down to the crystal shop close here, and I picked out some crystals that they're clear quartz just for my hands. And they made a huge difference when you're meditating. So I recommend holding crystals for meditation. Yes, Darren.
When these crystals amplify energy, can they amplify both the positive and negative energies?
Well, I think with our intention, usually when you're working with crystals, you're intending for balance or you're intending for positivity. So I would imagine we're here to bring ourselves into divine alignment. And that's what my crystals definitely were for. When you're working with clear quartz crystals, they clear themselves. You don't have to clear them, and therefore going more deeply into the heart space. So amplifying the negative, I guess I can. I never really thought of it that way, because it's certainly I certainly wouldn't think to do that.
Just to note, the sunlight really is great for clearing crystals as well.
Yeah, Archangel Gabriel told me you can run them, put them out under the moonlight, she said, overnight under a full moon, and then rinse them under lukewarm water, and something to do with sea salt too. I can't remember. Or putting them in sea salt and then rinsing them. Yeah. But most crystals do need clearing. Except that's why I love clear quartz, because it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. And you're saying sunlight as well. Sunlight.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay. So Raj says it is part of your expression wherever two or more are gathered, but it is not just two humans. It is two anything. And you are able to create, to generate, to use those energies. And are you able to create, to generate, to use those energies without the tools? And he says, yes. For example, you need to only visualize that you're holding a certain crystal to be drawing and connecting with its power, or you're right. So yes, they are fun. They are intended. Yes, they are sacred, but they are also fun. So yeah, we don't even need them really. As he said, you can just visualize it. So then connect with the power. So Susie says, gosh, I love that about a tool being considered an other. That's really wonderful, like more than just me. And Raj says, it is more than just you. It is one of your friends. So that's like, that makes complete sense to me. Susie, in my visualizations, I join with masters and angels and well, pretty much everybody. It's one big happy party. Thank you. So yes, we are surrounded with beings on the other side. And then if you bring in a favorite crystal, even visualizing it, that's a beautiful thing too. Okay, so, and then this is when there were callers into the radio show. And this one is kind of interesting because this lady has invested in Iraqi dinar and she wants some questions answered. And she says, I wanted to express my extreme gratitude to all of you at the Golden Age of Gaia website. So there you go, Steve. And yep, and the Company of Heaven for all the assistance you've given us for so long. Thank you for all your efforts. And then she says, I've been living a very simple life for a while now and working under the table, haven't paid taxes for a few years and invested in the Iraqi dinar. And I've been intending for it all to flow very smoothly with the IRS, going from not paying taxes to having all this money, but occasionally doubt creeps in. And I wanted to find out from you, Raj, if you have any thoughts on the best way to go about this with cashing in taxes and all that, as far as to make it flow as smoothly as possible. So as far as we know, Steve, have you heard of anyone cashing in? No.
Yeah,
So this was 10 years ago. And this is what Raj says, and it's a really interesting answer. And he says, first of all, you hold the intention, not only in this transaction, but in all transactions, that you come from a place of ethics and heart, that you come from a place of fairness and oneness, and that you simply know that you proceed effortlessly. Do not create drama or allow your ego to bring you to doubt where there is no need. It is that simple. So I think he's talking about her, like all transactions. So that's, you know, how she said she hadn't paid her taxes. So taxes are a good idea to pay when we're on Earth. So just to really, you know, keep all our transactions from a place of balance and fairness and oneness. And yes, Darren.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out it's very important to come from the heart when you do all your transactions.
Yeah, every transaction too. And that's why I put arigato up here, because anytime you buy anything from a cup of coffee to groceries to anything, it's really good then when the money transaction is happening to say thank you, like to have that gratitude anchoring back and forth, no matter what transaction it is. It really helps with the balancing. The power of gratitude is an amazing thing. Okay, so then she goes on to a second question, and she says, I have a very dear long-term friend who is very precious to me, has had a tremendously positive impact on my life for many years, and he keeps encouraging me to get a passport because he has had a vision that things are going to go downhill in the USA and that I need to be prepared to leave the country as my life could be in danger. I don't feel that at all, and I wanted to see if you could look into his heart and see what's going on and if this vision is coming from fear, if you could help to ease that in him. And Raj says he has need to release the fear, and if he asks for help, it is certainly our honor and our pleasure to work with him, but it is buying into drama. The reason, if you wish to get a passport, is simply because you wish to go exploring and journey all over the planet. That is the reason, not because there is civil strife. Okay, so that's a really good point to make. So if anytime you have fear coming up because of the state of the world, it's good to go inside and let it go. Ask for help. Really ask for help, because it's coming up for a reason. I've had this weird thing in my shoulder that, because I've been making the zooms and I use this hand so much to create all the colors and everything, that I've got a knot in my shoulder, and it never even occurred to me to ask, well, why do you have it? So I started today and it's connected to all kinds of stuff, which I didn't think it was. So it's really good. If you have any aches and pains, keep asking, how is it connected to the past? And I put the Zoom question here, but we've straightened that out, because that's another one that's a bit of a drama. So that's good that we don't have to worry about that. Okay, anything that comes up that's drama, like same with what I'm doing with the family, anchoring in peace, like really deep peace, to just keep facing it head on and asking questions and going in. And it's like, sometimes you have, like Lao Tzu said, you kind of got to tie a rope around yourself. If you're going into a danger, like a like whatever, angry situation, but you just know that we're so protected. We're so protected all the time. Okay. So, okay, so this was really interesting. The creation formula sort of came upon me. So whenever you're looking to release something, like say old drama or whatever, like I was doing with my family situation. So there was intent. I did a lot of sitting still around it, and then we went into action. So in the intent, I was surrounding everybody, and I was invoking, and I was, so that was good. And then I went deep into still point, and then I knew I would have to go into action. So it was action with love, knowing my worth. I invoked all the blessings and virtues, all the laws. And then this came today, but the dimensions are growth patterns, and we're becoming multi-dimensional, but I think it's connected to the self, because the dimensions, you go through the portals of the chakras to get to the dimensions, and they're growth patterns. So I think they're connected somehow to the self. I'm going to explore that a little bit more, but we are definitely becoming multidimensional with forgiveness, compassion, gratitude, peace, love, and joy. Those are the basics in the third dimension. So 12, there's the 1 + 2 = 3, and we're cleaning up with, the creation formula and understanding the growth patterns of the dimensions. We're cleaning up the third dimension. And there's the 3 of our mastery. So we're really anchoring in that higher dimensional way of being. Yes, Darren.
I believe that creation formula can be used to create anything you want to have in your life, really.
Yeah, for letting go, for bringing in whatever it is. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the old belief systems, they can't serve, like they can't work with, like when we're really anchored in the blessings and virtues and understand the laws and the dimensions, the belief systems, they just don't fit in. They have to dissolve. So yeah. Okay, so moving along. Oh, this was the Zoom question. Okay. So this is what we've done all this actually. So this is all good. This is what I wrote to Steve about it. What is the deep state, but related to us waking up from it as a collective? So when we're in that deep state of fear, we're really, and the deep state is the deep state, but what is it exactly? And I said to him, I'm not here to be afraid of the deep state, but to encourage all of us to face it, even if it is, on Zoom. And Zoom implies we're going to zoom through it. So I'm glad that the Zoom is a good place to be. And it's funny because I did it at 9/11. I know. I'm like facing into it. Okay, so and also this is amazing. If you guys have anything that you're afraid of or belief systems are coming up, invoke Archangel Michael, laugh, bring in the sword, cut all the ties, invoke the sacred law of intent. It's amazing how fast you can understand what the belief systems are all about and what they're connected to. Yeah, I highly recommend calling on Archangel Michael. Okay, so then the next question, this is interesting. Yes, Lillian.
You might want to go back and explain about Zoom because the people that are listening to this don't understand because our conversation was off.
Oh, okay. Okay, right. Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, so it came up that the Zoom platform was actually, Steve, can you explain it? Like what they were going to do?
Yeah, first of all, Zoom said that anything that you post, including just yourself,
Mhm.
the video of yourself, belongs to them. It is their property. They can use it any way they want. That's number one. And number two, let's see, what was that? Because that was the one that really really set me. Oh yeah, they could use it to actually train artificial intelligence.
Okay,
Well, holy moly, train it in what?
right.
So that's the big question. So that's it, Kathleen, in a
Okay.
nutshell.
Okay, so we were going to, as a group, decide if we were going to continue with Zoom. So it's, you know, there's a bit of drama around that. There's fear. There's definitely fear. So what SK Raj had said, when somebody else was talking about fear, he said, first of all, you hold the intention, not only in this transaction, but in all transactions. So my transaction with Zoom, all our transactions with Zoom, that we come from a place of ethics and heart, a place of fairness and oneness, and that you simply know that you proceed effortlessly, do not create drama or allow your ego to bring you to doubt where there is no need. It is that simple. So with anything such as our, you know, issues with Zoom, or, you know, any fear that comes up within us, it's a good idea to face right into it and feel into the fear and even ask, because we would feel fear if something like this had happened to us in another lifetime or in this lifetime. So the idea with the old belief systems is to know how it's connected to the past and clean it up within the self. And that's what I've always been recommending along the way. But the interesting thing that happened with the Zoom platform is there's so many institutions are using it that they face right into the Zoom, the people that run Zoom, and the regulations got changed quite rapidly. So that was a good example, a really good example of people standing up. Yeah, Steve.
Well, it also could have been a trial balloon. It could have been the deep state saying, well, let's find out how they'll react if we say, we're taking all of your stuff and we're going to use it the way we want to use it. Could have been a trial balloon, and they see people reacting. And
Okay.
also another thing about it is that the white hats have been, you know, the little car you go like this with? You know, a little car you run on the floor and it builds friction and then the car takes off?
Yeah, Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels. Well, I guess, yeah, okay. Anyways, they might have been seeing, you know, they might be watching everything we're doing right now. Because they themselves, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all the rest of them, may be standing the wings ready to follow suit with Zoom. So there could be deeper purposes here.
Okay. And I always like to think that the Galactics are really watching over everything, and they're very techie, and they don't want to see any more chaos here.
Yeah. And what, a month, 2 months from now, Starlink will come into online. And when it does, all this will go away.
And Starlink is connected to what's Starlink connected to?
It's Elon Musk's platforms of satellites, but it'll take over internet, and things like the nefarious practices of the various tech organizations just won't be allowed.
Right. So, and I've actually seen Starlink in the sky. Has anyone else seen it? Yeah.
I don't know if I have or not. I can't remember.
It's like a train of stars all linked, and it's moving. And when I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was. I was like, oh, yay. And then I looked into it. I was like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, good on you, Elon. But yeah, it's pretty exciting if you see it in the sky, because it's like a train of stars. I don't even know, satellites, I guess. Yeah.
And
Have you seen it?
Starlink is only one part of it. The quantum financial system will also be taking the cabal down. So their power will shrink and shrink and shrink.
Okay. And Ken, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, it sounds like, once again, you guys are talking about like this is going to happen tomorrow, and I get the feeling that this has to happen in a series of steps rather than just something that's going to happen suddenly. And I think that whatever happens, and when we talk about this stuff, it makes it seem like that gives us the opportunity to give up a responsibility, because if it's going to happen tomorrow, oh, well, God, that's great. I guess we don't need to do anything anymore. So I just think that reminding us that that this is not going to happen tomorrow is an important part of understanding what is going on.
I agree. I totally agree. And the most important thing is keep releasing all the fear. Because then the faster everything Nova Earth does get built, the more our young people will connect with their sacred purpose, and the different things can be changed from the ground up, is what I always say. So yeah, I feel like our most important thing is to face right into the fear and keep releasing it. And then things will just happen as they happen. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, call on Archangel Michael. He's brilliant to invoke. He with my family drama on the weekend, everybody was present. They were watching it all unfold, and I felt really protected the whole time. So just know that sometimes it can be a little dramatic, but to hold the calm, and the calm will come back. Okay, so now this question is an interesting one. The caller says, what is the limitation for a spirit? Can it travel through the universe? What happens when you're not incarnated? And he says, when you don't qualify for an incarnation. And Raj, I don't know what that means. Raj says there is no need for a physical form, but he also says, and I do have what you would think of as a form, as my home planet is Venus, and I often return there and reside there, if you can think of it that way. There are no limitations about how one can move or act. You do not need a physical hand to open a door. You do not need physical eyes to see. It is actually quite liberating. So SK's here right now. I can feel him. But we can't see him. But if he wanted to, he could turn on the light here, I'm sure. But when he goes back to Venus, he says he has a form. But us in our human form here, we can't see the beings on Venus. It's an ascended planet, but we can't see the beings there. So I guess we don't see his form. Would that be a correct way of saying it, Steve?
Yeah, we can't see anybody of a higher dimension. Well, some people can. Most of us can.
Right. So
they can see us, lower dimension, they can see us.
Yes. So, but he says when he goes back, what you would think of as a form, because he has one on when he goes to Venus, he has a form, or is that correct?
He takes a form, and if you can think of it that way, relates to the reside there. And I reside there, if you can think of it that way. He probably
Okay.
doesn't have a house or anything.
He doesn't have a house. No,
Maybe he has a palace or something, I don't know. Who knows?
right, right.
Yeah, I would think it's an etheric form he has there, compared to the form we have here, because it is at a higher dimension. Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
And so I guess it would be proper cities of light that are on Venus.
Yeah,
What?
right. Yeah,
Cities of light. Venus would have cities of light.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm.
probably. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but cities of light really relates most to us in the sense that higher dimensional things are seen as being of light. But on Venus, if they probably wouldn't perceive them in quite the same way.
Mhm. Okay.
Anyhow, yeah.
Okay, so then on to the next question. This lady, Nesha, says she's calling from Perth, Australia, and getting guidance in the form of music and in number plates. And she saw one that said 369 and was wondering what it could mean. And Raj says, because often we see clocks and license plates with triple numbers. So this is actually kind of interesting what he says. These are simply numbers, sacred numbers, the embodiment of ones and threes that you work with, dear heart. So it is part of your soul signature. That is what it is. So you are particularly attuned to treble. And it's funny because when he said it, we thought he said trouble. We didn't get treble. You are particularly attuned to triangles. So you work with threes. And that is a mastery number. So the Trinity, the triangle is one of the strongest shapes, the pyramid on the planet, the Trinity, the tri-flame. So there's lots of threes that we can work with. Especially this tri-flame in the heart. Wow, that's very powerful if you want to sit still and just meditate on that. Okay, and then on to the next caller. My question is, what is the best way to utilize the golden grid that Gabriel was talking about and SK made reference to for the most positive manifestations? And this is so interesting because now we're going to talk about the golden grid. And Raj says, all is operating. And when I say all, I mean throughout the multiverse, omniverse, all is upon a golden grid. All right. Now we have taken it upon ourselves, and this has been particularly the work of Archangel Gabriel, to yet again repolish and reinforce the golden grids, both of each person individually, humanity collectively, the planet, and further on. So you know that if you are to look at yourself etherically, one of the forms in which you would see yourself is as a golden grid. Now, you are not a golden grid that is separate off of the golden grid. It is a grid within a grid within a grid. When you are operating, when you are meditating, make sure every day that you, as you look at your sacred self, that you are not tarnished, or you have not tarnished or sullied your grid. Simply shine it up, take away the dust specks every single day, make sure that there are no tears and no breaks in your grid. So those are the old belief systems, those are the old feelings that are uncomfortable. And he says, shine it up every day. So face into the old feelings and ask how they're connected to the past and shine it up with forgiveness, compassion, gratitude. Then when you're working with creation, everything slides, travels upon the grid. When the channel has done the meditation, what you have called to your heart has traveled throughout the multiverse along this golden grid. So this was when we did the meditation, and there was a kitten, it was gentle as a kitten, and we pulled that to ourselves along the golden grid. And the idea is to see where you are wishing to create, to bring forward, where it is located on this renewed grid, and then simply ask it to be transported to you. But tend to your own grid as well. It is to make sure that nothing that is not of that gold. So what is gold? It's joy, it's gratitude, it's awe, it's all those golden words sinks in. So we want to make, yes, Darren.
Can you expand on what he means by everything slides, travels upon the grid?
Well, it slides easily when we're in gratitude for everything. And when we're in forgiveness of the past, and when we're in compassion for self, it just slides easily. So it's connected to the blessings and virtues and understanding the laws and the golden grid, the framework. Like when we
So
understand gold, that is the treasure.
So does that mean it's created easily then?
Anything that is our heart's desire slides easily to us. Well, you know, when we're all cleaned up, when we're not in fear, when we've released the sorrow, when we're not in judgment of self, when we're not feeling anxious, and that's separate. See, because they said you are not a golden grid that is separate, so there's no anxiety when, you know, our golden grid is polished, and we're not feeling like we need to control anything or we feel guilty. The golden grid, everything slides to us easily because the belief systems aren't tarnishing it. So it's a metaphor, but it's a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Stay in that golden energy. Gratitude, the power of gratitude. And then I said to myself, well, how are we connected to everything? Well, we're connected with when we're in forgiveness of everything, and compassion and gratitude, peace, love, and joy. It's golden. And at the very beginning of this law, SK talked about a fifth dimensional reality. Well, the fifth dimensional reality is the golden solar plexus, where we're managing change. So that's very much when our golden grid is all shiny, then we can manage change easily because we're in gratitude. We're feeling peaceful. We are compassionate. It all works. And then he says, could you give me a few more specifics on ways that you can clean your own personal grid in meditation? And Raj says you can etherically take a white silk cloth. Now, what is white? But it's purity. And what is purity? It's when we're in active participation of the divine plan, and we are loving those who we perceive as our opponents. So if we're struggling with personalities, that usually means we're struggling with our own self, because it's just a mirror. So purity is really, really loving self deeply. So you can etherically take a white silk cloth and polish your grid. So polish up yourself. You can use the all-purpose rainbow salve to clean it. It is etheric. It has all rays, all colors. It is usually used in healing, but it is applicable here. So there's the colors of the chakras, and the information embedded within color is very healing. That's what they use in the healing chambers. So polishing up our golden grid is really polishing up ourself, so that we've released all the belief systems, all the anger, the fear, the sorrow, the shame. You may use Gabriel's golden elixir to recode it, to shine it up as well. But the key is to become aware of your grid. And when I say your grid, I also mean not your body, but your full field. So do not just pay attention to your physical form. That is the center of your grid, but go further out into your expanded auric field as well, and make sure your emotional body, your mental body, your causal body, your astral bodies, that is all clear and bright and shiny as well. And the caller says, what if you are a perfectionist and never can seem to be satisfied with your grid? And Raj says, then that, dear heart, is a vasana. You're not seeing the beauty of who you are. That is a lack of self-worth. And I would suggest that you immediately ask Archangel Michael to help you remove it. It has no place within you, and it is certainly not part of your grid. And then the caller said, so then every morning when you're doing your meditation and cleaning your grid, feel satisfied that you have accomplished cleaning your grid. And Raj says, feel astonished and amazed and overwhelmed at the beauty of your grid. Satisfied isn't even close enough. Celebrate it, dear heart. It is beautiful. So in meditation, you can etherically see your beautiful golden grid and just make sure it's shiny. And if you do see tarnish or whatever, just ask, what is it? And your guides will help you understand. Yeah, and usually the tarnish is just an uncomfortable feeling. And then so you just ask how it's connected to the past and clean it up. So there's Michael. So if you know, if asking Michael to help you remove the vasana, this is a good way to do it. Just laugh. Yes, Darren.
So would the tarnish be related to a particular chakra or color?
Well, you can ask. You can definitely ask. I mean, I think with the golden grid, to me, the golden grid was kind of around us. It's more, and I've got another picture to show you. See how it's more around us? He says, your physical form, that is the center of your grid. So there you are in the center. That's the chakras. If it's tarnished, I mean, you can ask if it relates to a chakra. Yeah. I mean, I think it's, to me, it's just the old belief systems. Yeah. Okay, so then just call on Michael and help. Yeah, he's really good at cleaning it all up. But this to me is more like what the gold and what the grid is all about, because the outer piece, you can see it's golden, and this is our universal self. And then you can see it relates, like there's the seal of Solomon, it's pink, so that could relate to our grace. And there's the causal body, it's blue, so that could relate to the peace work. And then here's the etheric template soul design, that's golden. So does that hold the framework of the laws there as well? And gratitude and fortitude. And there's green, this is the mental body here. So these bodies are sort of, I think this is more what the grid is like. It's more around us, like these different fields. And then the astral body, and it's red, and humility and compassion. And then this is purple, it's very purple. This is our I am work, you know, that's closer to us, our mastery. And then this is the central column. So, and it's white light that comes down there, the purity. Purity is active participation in the plan, loving who we perceive as our opponents. So it's very, you know, around us, and you can see it, asked to see it in meditation, basically. And he said, this is the center of our grid, the physical body. Yes, Darren.
So would the golden grid surround all those bodies then?
Well, it looks like it does, because it's golden. This is our universal self. See how it's golden on the outside?
Right. Well.
Yeah. And I believe, Steve, wasn't your mom shining up the golden grid?
Well, she was repairing tears in the golden grid on the 12th dimension.
Yeah. So, and I've heard that the seal of Solomon has had tears as well. I believe that, yeah. So there's the seal of Solomon right there, right in front of the universal self. So,
Right?
yeah.
Pardon me. I got the hiccup. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't think the golden grid in the 12th dimension would have tears. I think she is there, and she's doing that work of repairing the grid at a lower dimension. Pardon me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, you know, when we fly through the pinprick of light in the heart chakra, and you go into the golden chamber, in there, ask to see the golden grid, because I'm sure they'll show it to us. You know, it's something to see in meditation. Probably easier to see it when we're sitting in a golden chamber. But just know it's all etheric, and really what we're doing is cleaning up the old belief system. And when we're in a state of gratitude for yourself, and you've forgiven yourself for everything, and you're in that state of compassion for yourself, you can literally go anywhere and deal with whatever situation is presented without too much drama. And that's the whole thing. When there's no drama within, you can go and be in situations of drama and be the calm. And I think that's why we're here, to be that real deep calm for humanity as we wake up out of all the drama. So this is interesting. The question comes in about the sun. Well, this was 10 years ago. So in September, October, is the sun going to be at the end of its 11-year cycle and going to change poles? Is there going to be some explosions? Is this going to benefit the consciousness of humanity, or will it bring chaos for humanity? And Raj says the sun is in her own evolutionary cycle, but what is occurring in the sun in the near future has absolutely no impact. Is there solar flares that create magnetic or electrical fields? Yes, but you are well shielded from these, so do not create a drama where there is none. And then somebody else calls in, or the same caller, can you please tell me more about the power of crystals? I know they help to transmute negative energy, but I want to use them with more intention of benefit. And here Raj says the crystals, understand the crystals are beings and a collection of energy unto themselves. They have their own power, and what they are known for so often in the human realm is that they are amplifiers. Each crystal, every rock and crystal upon the planet has its own mission and purpose. So when you hold a crystal, it is best that you go into meditation, because they are following the law of above and below. So they brought their energy into this form with a very specific purpose. Ask the crystal what its sacred mission and purpose is. Let it share with you what it is, and then in conjunction with it, let it assist you and you assist it in the fulfillment of that mission and purpose. So there are healing crystals, there are channeling crystals, there are crystals that simply wish to be amplifiers, there are transmitters, there are libraries. Ask the crystal what its purpose is rather than try and do an overlay of programming. So often when you go into a crystal shop, it will tell you what the crystal is for. So whenever people come up to me when I'm in the shop, I'm like, no, all you need to do is ask it. And some people just look at me like I'm crazy, but other people get it. Like the little ones that they get it, that the crystal has a purpose. So it's so interesting. Yeah, Leanne.
That's fascinating about the channeling crystals. I didn't know about that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I knew the rest of them, but
yeah, the best ones are clear quartz for channeling.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Because they self-clear, because we're always working with clearing energy.
Okay. Thank you. That makes sense.
Yeah. Or the other one that's really good is Lemurian. So the ones with that look like clear quartz, but they have the lines, the striated lines.
Right.
So if you come across one of those, they're fabulous to hold while you're channeling.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then this lady asked about automatic writing. It has been a wonderfully profound thing that has been happening. The writings seem to be of love and of light and pretty and meaningful. And when I shared them with somebody, a religious person, they seemed to be somewhat fearful and suggested that there's a possibility that I could even be letting in darkness, even though the words were so delightful. So I guess I'm a little afraid that maybe I should not be doing this. Also, I'm wondering what a gatekeeper is. I had a dream about the word and heard a little bit about some other light workers, but I'm not sure I know what that is. And Raj says, first of all, when you are channeling in any form, there is a method of preparation and of sealing the space. And so you would always seal the space with prayer, with light, with crystals, with meditation. You do not simply begin and sit down and do your automatic writing, even though you are mightily protected by your guides and friends. So it's like when I do these Zoom classes, I always come in half hour to an hour before, sit still, and you can light a candle, you can, gather around crystals, you can crack the window open, say a prayer, it's a beautiful way to set the space. And the second thing that you would do, dear heart, is always ask who is writing to identify themselves. In this way, you ensure the purity and the clarity of what is coming through. Do not allow the fears of those who do not understand what is available to humans to dissuade you from doing your work. So you can always ask who you're talking to. And a gatekeeper is one, and it is an ascension assignment that basically is helping people through the portal of ascension. So I always think the portal of ascension is the heart, but also we've heard that gatekeepers are kind of standing at the gates and allowing people through. What was it, Steve? They allow them through, or they say you need to go back or something?
Well, I thought they were actually taking people across the bridge.
Okay, there we go.
And then coming back for others and going across.
For the Rainbow Bridge, back and forth.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So I'm sure, I know I think Archangel Michael called me a gatekeeper, but I wasn't quite sure what I was doing. But I think it's connected to this type of teaching as well, and doing readings and helping people understand what's going on here.
Probably.
Yeah. Again.
Okay, it's the same. I don't, I'm sorry, it was I want to say golden grid that's associated with when we cross the bridge and go up and meet with the people of the 13th octave.
Oh yeah, that's the 13th octave meditation. Yes, I would. Yes, I'm sure that's a good description of it, actually. So yes, in our mastery in the etheric realms, guiding people over the bridge. Yeah, because that's exactly what happens in that meditation. We're asked to call our family and our friends and our pets and our children and our over the bridge in that meditation. Yeah, good. That was very good. Thank you. Okay. So there we go. I think we're at the end. So just remember to invoke the universal law of balance, as above, so below, as within, so without, for anything. Even situations like the fires, you can invoke this law, because we're bringing in how things work in the higher realms below. So that's a really easy law to invoke when you see anything out of balance. And this is what Commander Ashira talks about it, about witnessing suffering. They witness it on a grand scale. So do we when we see the fires in Lahaina and, in North America. And he says there are a number of ways, but the easiest way is invoking the law of balance. And the law of balance is including the balance of above and below, or what you think of as within and without. Above and now, we are talking in the higher realms, yes, even higher dimensions, but also what people conceive or refer to as heaven, or what we would call the heart of one. There is no pain, there is no deterioration, there is no aging. So when you invoke, call upon Sanat Kumara, call Raj, have him show up directly in front of you, let him show you his scales of balance, of justice, and invoke balance in the person, the individual, the situation that you feel is suffering, and within yourself, because it is affecting you, because you are suffering, because you are witnessing suffering. Then invoke the law of change. And that's the next law that we're going to be studying next week. Invoke that law that allows situations to change, and change does not need to be an elongated process. Change can occur, and you be specific in the blink of an eye. And so often we will have a shift in perception. And so we alleviate suffering within ourselves with that shift, with that blink of an eye, the law of change. But invoking the law of balance, which we've just studied, is a beautiful way to alleviate suffering within the self and within situations and other people as well. So you, Ken and Lillian, you have a friend that's been in pain. That's a really good law to invoke on behalf of him.
Oh, the one of balance?
Yes.
Okay.
As above, so below, because there's no pain above, there's no suffering above. The suffering is created from our belief systems.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So that's that for this. Pretty sure that's it. Yeah. So I'll just, any other comments or questions for this? No. Okay, so I'm just gonna come out of this.
Are we gonna do the 15 minutes of meditation now?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, of course we can do that. Yeah, we'll send it. Steve, did you want to go? It's 7:06. Oh, we can't hear you.
I will go. Thank you, everyone. See you
Okay.
Friday.
Okay,
Right,
see you
so that-
Friday.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, right. I totally forgot about this. Good thing you remembered, Ken. Okay, so let me set my timer. How long do you want to do? 15 or 10? What do we, any
15, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, 15's good for me.
15? Okay. And we are going to send all this information we just learned out into the collective, and anything specific? Did we want to send it to the fires? Did we want to send it? Yeah, fires.
Yeah, the
Fires.
fires,
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's send it into the fires. Great. Oh, I'm so glad you remembered. Okay. So everybody all set?
Just mute, maybe mute.
Oh, okay. I'll mute everybody. Okay. There we go. Here we go. See you in 15, everybody. There we go. That's 15 minutes. Mhm. Good. Wow, that was good. That was just the right amount of time.
So Kathleen, do you want to record this or?
That I think it's good to have that in there. Just as a good idea to do, don't you think? On the end of on the end of the Zoom, I think it's a great idea. Because somebody has come all the way through the Zoom, they might as well send the energy out. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a brilliant idea. Why not? Once you've anchored that kind of information in. Yeah. And and also just to say, any situation, like I went right into the family situation at the very beginning, because that's like so close to me. And then I went into family law, and then it just kind of spread out onto the planet, into the fires. I watched an amazing piece with a young man who had gone in the back end of Lahaina, and because his parents had a house up in the top, and he knew how to get in the back way because he grew up in Lahaina. And then he explained what it was like. It was just incredible what they went through. Incredible. And he said he had a friend that stayed up all night rescuing people. He took a bunch of people out. They saved the whole neighborhood. Then he went down because he had a base camp close to the ocean. So he saved all his equipment, and he made sure that his diesel tanks didn't blow up. And then he went back up and he rescued a whole couple of families and got out the back, but one of his buddies stayed all night. And he kept running into people saying if it wasn't for his buddy, they wouldn't be alive. Like, he was just like so heroic. And then he said, but he's like in shock because it was like a war zone. He hasn't recovered because he's seen so much devastation. Yeah. Incredible. And then after I watched that, I heard Lao Tzu come in, and he said, we wouldn't have the hero without the one that's created the chaos. So, I mean, it takes both. Yeah. So I'm like, that's how important it is to send the energy to both, to the hero and the ones that, and the creators of the chaos, or however it happened.
Did you mean the villain or a villain?
Yeah, the villain. Yeah. We wouldn't have the hero without the villain.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we're coming out of that dichotomy. That's what's happening with the planet. We're coming out of positive and negative into the middle, and in the middle, there's peace, love, and joy, and everybody getting along, community, families that are peaceful.
Can't wait.
Yeah, we're getting there. Keep doing it within yourself. Bring yourself really deep, deep, deep peace, forgiveness of everything, and then extend it out to everybody you know. We'll get there. Okay. So that was a great class. Thank you so much. I'm just going to end the recording right now. So thank you, everybody. And this is the end of this one, and there'll be one more in this series. Okay.